Next stage of our Portuguese house renovations. The back of the house, some of the walls have got a very thin layer of cement, and exposed in it is bricks, and these red bricks, normal house bricks, and these thin Portuguese terracotta bricks. Want to get off some of this cement and cover it in lime plaster to at least protect it from the elements, from the sun and the rain and things like that, because I think they start to degrade quite quickly in the weather here. So that's what this video is going to be all about, restoring the outside of the back of the house. So the obvious areas to do is that area around the door, up there. I'm going to keep these exposed bricks at the bottom, and the cement that the builders did looks really nice, so just got to try and blend it in a little bit. There's a pipe that needs covering over. That big stone I want to expose there, I think it's a big sandstone. But all along here, it's very thin brickwork. This area here around the shed entrance, like I say, you can see how this is worn away already, very thin. And around the side of the house, there's this whole giant area that's just crumbling away. So I think I'm going to start with a hammer and just chisel off the loose bits, and then look at mixing up some cement and at least filling in and making it more weatherproof. That was obviously a door there at one time. It's just been concrete brick filled. Again, I want to plaster that with lime cement all the way across. Probably not going to be worried about painting this building this year, this side of it, but at least get this done before we leave. We are starting to run out of time. We've only really got a couple of weeks left. We've got some more family visiting as well, so yeah, on with the next stage. As you can see, I've just used this tiny little hammer, and a lot of stuff's very loose on here. Just going to knock off all of the loose stuff, try and just tidy up the bricks, make sure everything that can come off easily does, and then look at doing the cementing. So I've removed the big pile of rubble from the kitchen that was there. I'm going to do a bit more chipping off, but chipped off some of the bit more of the loose stuff. I've got down to a level of like gravelly cement on the floor. Now I'm not sure they have footings and everything in the building like this, so I think I'm just going to go with that level, down to that level. We do plan in the future to dig this all out to about, I don't know, maybe a foot from the wall, and put in like a Portuguese path, like little stones. I think they're called calcula. So that's what we plan to do in this area. It's not going to get a lot of rain coming down here because of the wall for next door that diverts it away, and it's just this patch of ground. So I think a little drive, which won't be for a car, just for people, with a retaining wall down, just a slight retaining wall down the edge to keep the water away from the building and flow it out into the road. Well, it's not going to 100% solve any damp issues, but it will, I think, make it a lot less likely you will end up with literally 1 foot area of rain down the side of the house, which shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, carry on chipping. and then get the cement mixer in action. There's my first wheelbarrow of cement. I won't be washing out the cement mixer because I'm just going to really put this up as quick as I can. I made it quite firm to go on the wall, so try plastering it on. So I'm going to start with the worst part, this middle section. Do that first. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give the wall a good soaking to get the cement to stick better. So I'm just going to soak this area here of these red bricks. If I only did that bit, it would protect this wall quite a bit. So that's giving that a good soaking, and now I'll apply the cement. I'm just a bit wetter than I thought it was. Just basically slapping it on. I put the wheelbarrow beneath it so it collects everything that falls off. A bit like indoors, I think. Once you put a very wet layer on, the next layer will go on better. So I'll do this wheelbarrow full and then do a video at the end of that to see what it looks like. I have noticed quite a few spider webs in the walls, so they're obviously going to be killed by doing this, but everything needs sealing up. Even the little insects are going to damage the wall by getting in. First wheelbarrow full applied. It's gone on really well. I'm going to use that same consistency next time. Obviously very rustic. Said that a few times about this house. We like rustic, so. But what I'm going to do in a couple of hours, I'm going to get a wet trowel and smooth that all out. And putting the wheelbarrow underneath is a good idea because very few bits dropped to the floor, so that was good. So I'm going to mix up another barrow. This took about less than an hour, and then I'm going to move on to this section. And I think, looking at how much that's done, that should be able to cover that section there, although it's probably a few deeper holes. But going well. It's quite a cool day today, but even just doing this work, very hot. I've said before, for 20 odd years I've just driven a keyboard and mouse, so this sort of work is quite hard on your arms and wrists, but I think even in the short time we've been here, I'm probably up to about double what I could do before, so really improving as we go. A rare sight, rain has stopped play, so got a little bit further along, starting to throw it down. Hopefully it'll stay on the wall. I've had to rush my cement barrow in here and spilt a load on the step, but that's fine. It's going to keep it from getting wetter. Time for a break. So second wheelbarrow load, put on the wall. Probably about just over a third away. That took over an hour because of rain delays. I have smoothed it off a little bit over there. But I'm planning to go over it again when it's all dry with some wet stuff. So mix up the next lot and carry on. Call it a day after about 5 hours. End of day one. I've just done around this corner as well because I had a little bit of cement left and I sort of got to an end point along there. So there's a wall now. I will come out a bit later and smooth that off a bit. I've been using the step ladder just to get to the top part, but I think it's going on pretty well. It should give the wall quite a lot of protection. Certainly these red bricks you can see there, they go really crumbly when they're exposed to the weather, you know, all weathers and sunshine and everything. So they're all covered up. I think should finish that tomorrow. Well, day 2 on cementing the walls. That's all set nicely, rock hard. Covered up the red, there's the other side. Covered the red bricks. Up and down this wall. That's all gone on well. Obviously got to do the bottom part yet, but I'm going to finish this top part. I'm using that sand that's in the way, and then come back and do this end. So get the cement mixer plugged in and ready to go and start day 2. About 2 hours in today, and I've managed to get to the end of this wall. So that's all, top 3/4 of it protected and plastered in lime cement. Now I'm going to do this bottom section. I don't know if that's going to be easier or harder. I'm about to find out, but I'm just going to cement all the way along the bottom, and then that should be this wall completed for now. Creature number 1, some sort of caterpillar. I'm going to release that. And something very unusual. Like a garden snail. So I'll just pop that in some grass. That's the first snail we've seen in Portugal. Now I'll just gently remove his caterpillar and put it in the grass as well. Done about the first quarter of the bottom section. Just over 3 hours into this now. Just mixed up another barrel full of cement. I've cleaned out the cement mixer because I think probably going to take me another hour or so to do this bottom section. And big dark clouds in the sky, so I've just covered it over a bit. And it's lunch break, and I'll carry on after lunch. Completed the side of the house. That in total has taken about 12 hours to do with the trowel and cement by hand. Yes, I've got to smooth it off and maybe give it a plaster layer, but all those exposed rotten bricks are covered now, and it's going to be more protected against the elements. I've done this corner yesterday. I'm going to call it a day today. So the third day will be this area here and that bit around the door where the stones are showing, the bricks are showing. I do want to chip out, I might do it later, a couple of these really big sandstone and blocks in there, have them exposed. But overall, really hard work. I'm sure if I knew what I was doing, it would probably take half the time. And if I was a bricklayer or plasterer, that would probably take a couple of hours. But like I say, 12 hours of work, but well worth it. And again, it all looks a bit makes the house look a bit better as well. Third day, carrying on with cementing the walls. That's where we're going today, down there and around that door and corner. Been putting it off a bit because it's been raining on and off, but decided to, it's just about to stop raining, so I'm going to go for it. Method I've been using now is I just mix a lot of water and sand to start with. It also tends to bring to the top little things that shouldn't be in there because the sand's been exposed. Even stones seem to float to the top, that method. Leaves, things like that. And then I add in the cement until I've got the right mix. So I've added in the cement, It's the 2.5 sand to 1 cement mix. So I'll give that a few minutes of stirring, and then I'll just add in a little bit more cement to get the right consistency. I'll leave that mixing for a while. Cost so far is sand, and I've used just over 1.5 bags of cement. And again, it's the lime cement from Brico Marsh at about just over €6 a bag. So probably about, because the sand was free, it's cost about €10 so far. So a wheelbarrow full of cement, quite runny. I'm going to wash out the cement mix now because I'm only expecting to use this much today. I think it's going to stretch into a 4-day job. Just going to put this on up here using the wheelbarrow underneath to catch the cement method, and I'm going to wet the walls to make it stick better. So I'll carry on with that. Cement mixer washed out, and I'll leave it that way up so it doesn't get water in it when it's raining. Obviously right mess here, but like I said, it's going to be a drive one day. I've wet down the walls, so now I'm going to start applying the cement and just tuck it behind the solar panel. Been going about 20 minutes. Just got around the door. I've got to go on the inside of the door again. I'm using quite runny here, so just moving it off. Found a good use for a empty beer bottle holding out the solar panel, so I can get behind it. You can see I'm smoothing it down a bit more, but it's taking care of that surface. It should make it much more protective. Down this inside, holes in the bricks which I've got to fill in, so I normally give them a coat like that and then let it dry, go back over it maybe a couple of times. Carry on progressing along the wall. Calling it a day today. Managed to get the top section done all the way down the house. Again, the cement is not brilliant, but it needs a finishing coat, but it is protecting everything from the weather. It's quite hard work. And on the bottom here, I'm definitely going to be keeping that big stone near the ladder, the one below it and the one above it. So I'm going to try and keep those 3 stones and then cement around those. But overall, pleased how it's going. It's really hard work. So I've done about 4 hours today. That's more than enough. And continue day 4, cementing the walls tomorrow. Day 4 ended up being a washout. It rained all day. It's the first full day's rain we've seen since it's been here, and Portugal really need it anyway because they're in drought. So this is now the 5th day of the cementing. That's all drying nicely along there, and I've just got this area at the back of the house and around the side now, around the door to the edge. So hopefully the plan is to finish this today. Okay, that little section done down there. I'm now going to work on the section behind the door and around the door. If I go behind the door. So I'm leaving those big rocks. I'm not worried about the bottom of this because I think that cement's pretty waterproof. This is a bit of a mess around here. There is this old hinge, which I think maybe was an old door. Also the top is a bit frightening to look at, but I'm just going to concentrate on this wall. I might just leave that hinge on for now, and we can remove that when we do get around to swapping the windows out. So that's the next part to that. Looking back at that, yeah, it's quite a unique finish, but like I say, it can be. I'm thinking it can be smoothed over with a plaster layer later on. So I basically just lather it on and then do my best to smooth it out. Get rid of any lumps and bumps. Any stones that are in it fall out and mess up the cement. You just have to go over it again. All the stuff that falls on the floor, I do eventually wipe it up and up the walls. So it's a slow, tedious process. You know, that section there, probably about 6 foot by 2 foot, took me an hour or so. Made a bit of a mess of my tap, but I think it's still working, and that will clean off. So just carry on working round. But overall, I think it's really improving the look of the house, and certainly, as I said before, protecting it from the elements. So that's around the window and the door completed. This concrete was a home to many spiders. They seem to make a lot of little holes in there. It's quite amazing how big a spider can come out of a little tiny spider web hole. So hopefully that'll get rid of those and keep them away, because they won't be able to make homes so easily. Just going around this side now, filling in these bricks. There was a plaque there, like a flower thing made of terracotta, that I couldn't be saved. It's on the video when we first come and look around the house. So Jackie wants to make something there with some shells we collected at the Algarve a while ago. So we'll see how that turns out when we get to that stage. But making good progress, not far to go. Just adding on our shell decorations from the Algarve. Looking brilliant. The finished masterpiece. Oh, finished now. Big thanks to Courtney for collecting them all, especially the starfish and the claw. We would have never picked those up. Finally completed. I think that's about 24 hours of solid cementing with the lime cement. But it's really improved our building. There's a look at that wall, around the door, and joined along this wall. So it's gone super tough work. Arms are killing me. It's gone really well. So a big thank you again to everybody for watching, liking, subscribing. Yeah, this has taken 5 days with a day lost of rain. I've almost grown a full beard during the process. But stay tuned, hope you watch the next video. We're going to go to Nazaré to look at the 100-foot wave, or the beach where the 100-foot wave is. So should be an interesting little day trip.